That is quite a start for our chalice singers. We'll be expecting more and more from them all year, right? Well done. Well done. And for those of you who've been hanging around here for a couple of years, you might remember Jude just started with us a couple of years ago, and he was very content to hide behind that wall. Look at him go. Look at him go. Absolutely. So last month we were talking about our history and our tradition and our covenantal theology. Over time, as a tradition, we grounded ourselves in the promises we make to each other. We recognized, as our forebears did, that how we stay together is by practicing staying and restoring. Covenant is our collective practice and commitment to religious community. It is how we have stayed and will continue to stay together. It has always been so for us. We were able to say that with confidence because more than anything, we were formed and reformed by the practice of covenant, of staying and restoring, of questioning, what did we miss? What did we miss? Who might we have left out? Our ancestors held a sense of the sacred by their unshakable sense of commitment to the promises they made to one another. Promises so important to them that they lost connections, credibility, and country. That is how central and sacred they held their promise to journey together in the ways of the Spirit with the integrity of their vows to one another. That was true even though the state, now imagine this, even though at the time, even though the state stood at the ready to coerce its people. Stretch yourselves now. Back then, the state stood at the ready to coerce its people into religion and faith. And our tradition, our ancestors, our churches have said, now wait a minute, friends, wait a minute. It's care, not coercion, that holds us and enables us to live purposefully and powerfully together. This is how we survive and make justice together and grow our own souls. From that foundation, then, we turn this month to Unitarian Universalism of the present. Just over a year ago, you see, we voted as an association of congregations on a new set of values which helped us articulate our faith differently. Here is the atom, I'm lazy about my T in that word, I understand, an atom, with all of our values there among them. And right there at the center is love. Now, for some of us, I understand when we saw this, we blanched a little bit. Let's be honest. What does that mean? What is love? Which is an understandable response, to be sure. Love is preposterously overused and often misused, I might note. And we use it for a feeling, mostly, for people, for partners, for dogs, for cats, for children, for parents, for grandparents, for ice cream. For roller coasters, for cat videos, so many things. Yet love for us is essentially about choice and action. And centering love is the practice of centering something larger. Centering something larger. Now, bell hooks, the author, the blessing now of blessed memory, put it in a few lines of a short poem. She said this: love ain't got no messenger. Love don't need no witness. Let the Spirit testify. Now these words highlight Hook's work across time. She wrote powerfully about the power of testimony as the power to witness to the world one's own truth and the role that played in healing oneself, as well as healing a society in which individualism, capitalism, and power held more sway with people than actual values. So Love don't need no witness. Let the Spirit testify, captures Hook's sensibility that love has its own power, that invites our personal conviction and alliance. For me, this sort of ties to what we did this past summer when I invited some speakers to testify. I might not have used that word. It doesn't get me far in these parts. But nonetheless, it is what they did. As a reminder to you, I shared that prior to officiating a wedding, my practice has been to meet with the couple and to ask each of them, if you could give a gift of the Spirit to your partner, what would you give them? In doing this, I named for them that we tend, as a people, we tend to only think of gifts as in terms of what we can buy for each other. And yet most of us come to know that the most important things we can't buy: good health, a good friend, a loving partner, somebody to witness us. Those sorts of things. So then, gifts of the Spirit invite us actually to enter that world of the intangible, of the priceless. And in deciding upon such a gift, it invited those speakers to be grounded in love for something bigger. For something or someone, and imagine something that might ease their path, might help them grow into their best becoming. And so, as a reminder, here's what emerged from our people this past summer.
What gift of the Spirit would I give this church if I could? Not what gift, not money, not things, not space, not time, but what gift of the Spirit? What is a church intended to be if not a community? To me, it's more than just people coming together around a shared set of values, but also an intention towards sincerely cultivating and nurturing a true sense of belonging and fellowship.
The gift I offer today is an intentional awareness of how simple kindness is. Sometimes quiet, often unnoticed, can open larger spaces for justice and wholeness. There are times in all of our lives and in the life of this church when our values are tested. I believe we're living through one of those times right now. We're not just a collection of individuals. We are a congregation, a we.
If you had told me in 1995 that I would be a church lady, I would not have believed it. The gift I would give to you is fully embracing being a church person with the imperfections, frustrations, and hard work alongside the incredible beauty, love, community, and hope of our Unitarian Universalist faith.
The continuing, committed work of encouraging the telling of the shaded spiritual story of life is my wish as a spiritual gift for JUC. I have learned to keep examining my stories. It seems our stories grow with us, and the telling of those stories is how they reveal their truths to us. Stories are powerful, and I have found that nothing with power is risk-free. But this is my gratitude for the wholehearted value of our JUC community and you, all of its people.
It's been a tough 6 months. So it might surprise you to hear that these past few months have been some of the most hopeful months of my life. I know we may not all be in a place where it is possible to be hopeful, but these past 6 months have been so powerful for me. I truly wish that you all are able to find something that gives you hope. I'm hopeful that we can find some common ground to be a community, to work together to make all of our lives better.
One of the ways I've patched myself up after trauma throughout my life was to make things as certain as possible, to engage, research, think through possible contingencies, and work really, really hard towards outcomes. And yet it has been the things that I could not plan, the things that I've gambled on, that are my reasons for living.
The gift we wish to give our congregation is to embrace mystery and approach it with curiosity and courage.
My thanks to all of them, and to Ray, our communications manager, for putting that video together. And if you want to join me in... You see, I think our spirits testify when we center something larger than ourselves, than our wants, than our comforts, than our egos and the like, and instead look to something bigger. Something like our deepest wish for someone or something. It helps us to live into what's important. It helps us embody our hope by living with the end in mind. Love is such an overused word that its meaning is elusive, but when we root it in practice of centering something larger, I think it becomes so much more real. This practice is found in the guidance. Brace yourselves for this. It's found in this guidance. You can want to be right, or you can want to be in relationship. Anyone want to give me an amen? Yeah. See, some of us might bristle at that. Maybe some of us have bristled at that. But therapists have pointed out over the years, and its wisdom is hard to miss. In other words, while it is our choice to center our need to be right, we do so at the peril of our relationships. This does not mean, mind you, this does not mean that one member of a couple should always give in. Not at all. Instead, it invites those in the relationship to center the health and well-being of the relationship ahead of investing in egoic power struggle that often grows out of prioritizing the need to be right. Now, that's not the only example. You see, I witness parents centering something larger routinely, because goodness knows, from the outside in, it seems that at any given moment, it would be far easier for you parents to actually do the homework yourselves. Am I the only one that notices this? No. Or the chore for the reluctant child. It would be way easier to say yes to extra sugar or later bedtimes or whatever the thing is. But I watch parents center the bigger picture, which is about launching a kind, responsible, and loving human into adulthood. See, living into love at the center is about practicing throughout the breadth of our lives, centering something larger, sometimes discerning what that something larger is requires deep reflection and accountability. Love at the center is in the center of our values because all of our other values are in relationship to each other, and their practice requires centering something larger. In short, we need one another. It is important, I think, that we name love as a value, but it is even more important that we put love at the center. Because love in and around and among all the other values Love is at the center because it is woven into all the others. And when we understand love as the practice of centering something larger, it is actually, we can see, the cause of all of our other values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. I wonder, if you were going to draw an image of your life, how would you the image of your life about how you spend your time, about what captures the majority of your energy, about what values are most visible, what might the image look like? Even if you borrowed this image of the atom, what would the words be? What values would you place on there? And would others see those values from the way you live in the world? Have you thought about what's at the center of your life? I have. And I ought to, right? It was my idea to preach this sermon. But I really spent some time on it, and I thought, what is at the center of my life? And one thing I'd name is joy. The joy that I have in hiking with Betsy and watching our dogs run and act fools together. And also, in the center of my life is the frazzledness I have from being responsible always for exercising the dogs and me, especially in these days after Betsy has had shoulder replacement surgery. I think what's in the center of my life is holding our church when it gathers in worship and leading with our staff in ways of the heart and spirit. And also the longing I have for time alone without needing to produce. The center of my life are friends, those listening and supporting dear ones who are on their paths as they support me on mine, and also the other folks, including some family, that have capacity for only seeing the surface details of each other's lives. We struggle to see each other. At the center is staying informed and showing up for justice issues and doing the work of becoming anti-racist. And also talking to people whose life is different than mine, to confront fears and hopes and to tempt civility to emerge from the shadows within me and among all of us. Also in the middle, in the center of my life, are the times I stop and I offer requested help: food, water, a jacket, a blanket, money, and also all of the times that I drive by without looking, afraid to see our shared humanity. See, I am all of those things. They're all at the center. All of these things, people and ways of being, are in the center of my life, which is to name, of course, that I'm always in relationship, which is to say that I am keenly aware that I did not make myself, and I am never and have never been for myself alone, even when I wish I could be. My colleague, the Reverend Dr. Molly Hausch-Gordon, put it this way: my center is made up of connection. At my core is a collection of what I love, even when love is hard. That my heart is woven thread by shining thread by all the relationships that form and knit me together. Yeah, me too. And I'll bet you too. And sometimes I am proud of how that looks there at the center of my life. And sometimes I am not. Yet there it is, all of it, a frail and finite human in relationship with other frail and finite humans. So how does one make peace with it all? With all that we are up against in these days? And it won't surprise you, I'm sure, that my answer is again attention and intention. It is why I love our faith tradition so much, and that it has kept covenant at its foundation, this practice of staying and restoring relationship, because in it, it reminds us we need one another. And beyond that, it offers these beautiful values: generosity, equity, interdependence, transformation, pluralism, and justice. Oh, and love too. That should not be countercultural, but isn't it just? Love too, and put that at the center, it says, because it makes everything else go. Practice centering something larger than the moment you are in, or than your ego, or than your need to be right. Practice centering something larger so you might imagine what this moment might be in service of. That in this moment we might be carried past our familiar doubts and fears, carried past our pride and our need to be secure, and into a graceful ease and confidence in our collective strength and power to be and create better possibilities together. That is what I believe love at the center in this covenantal faith means. We just keep putting one foot in front of the other. May it be so. All my relations. Shanti, shalom. Amen.